I didn't know how to be vulnerable enough to even express myself when I was angry without being angry or without being emotional. Now, yo, I need this and I need you to be like this and I need this and I need it.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Pretty Girl Progression Podcast. I am your girl, Sherelle. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you stay. And if you have been here before, girl, welcome back. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you are enjoying the channel. Now, ladies, I have created a free ebook, 10 Tips to Personal Development. We're talking everything about grounding, doing your personal work, doing mirror work. And I've also created a daily devotional. You can pick this up at www.prettygirlprogression.com. Now that that's all out of the way, y'all, I have a very special guest. She is literally a breath of fresh air, a Harlem native, Miss Rollerblade Skater Princess, okay? She is a real one. She is a straight shooter. Y'all, please give a round of applause for Nina Star.
Hi,
Hi,
thank you
hey,
for having
beautiful.
me.
I'm so
Hi.
happy to have you. Nina, I'm just going to jump into it because you are somebody who's always been, I won't say controversial, but I will say very opinionated. You are like thick skin, tough skin, and you just march on your own drum. You do your own thing and you blow however you want, right? So, for the people who don't know you, how would you describe Nina?
I would describe myself as a straight shooter, like you said.
For sure.
Um, I'm definitely all about women's empowerment. I'm very family oriented. I'm very outgoing and super talented. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I would say
Yes.
about myself.
And if you could just answer this, what is pretty girl progression to you?
Pretty girl progression to me. It's funny because you use me as a breath of fresh air, and that's how I feel about your show. That's how I feel about your movement. I don't feel like there's a lot of women out here who are as positively trying to influence anymore. It's more so about, what you look like and what you can offer with what you look like nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's more grounding to me too. That's what you're putting out there is more grounding. I think that it's fresh and I think that it empowers women to be themselves more than
Yeah.
others. Yeah,
That's what I
I would
want.
say.
That's what I love. Like, I want people to be themselves. Even if you're struggling with it, you know what I mean? Tap into another woman where you can resonate with her and say, damn, I could really learn from her, you know? That's why I
And it's
needed
funny
you on
because
this show.
when you first met me, I was 18
Yeah.
and I was oof, child, I was going through it, and even that tough girl and that like mean girl exterior, like you helped me break some of those walls down, and you were one of the people. You and Susie were one of the people that made me want to embrace my femininity. So
Shout out to
I always tell you
Susie.
I appreciate you so much. Yeah, shout out
I
to
love
Susie,
you.
bro, super mom over there.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know what? I do want to go back, take it back to your childhood, right? So you are from Harlem. What's it like growing up in Harlem?
Well, when I was growing up in Harlem, it's very different from the Harlem there is now.
That's what I've
When I
been
was growing
hearing.
up in Harlem, there was no white people.
Mm-hmm.
If there were, they would be at Columbia University.
Okay.
Once you passed 116, we really didn't see white people, and it's super gentrified now. There's a lot of resources now as well, but growing up in Harlem was a little hard, only because it was a lot of poverty and my family didn't come from money. So I don't come from money, I'm now self-made, but my family didn't come from money. And when my family came to the States, they were They were squatters.
Word?
Yeah, they were squatters. My grandfather, my grandmother, my aunts, they were all squatters. They were pretty young too. And yeah, my mom had me at 15, so she did the best
My
she
mom
could with what
too.
she
Wow.
had. Yeah,
Yeah.
she did the best she could with what she had. And kudos to my mom for trying to like always make sure that she she basically showed us more than what we came from, you know. Um, it was fun. It was very community oriented. Everybody knew each other. Summertime was like no other. I love being from Harlem. It's multicultural. Um, yeah, I love Harlem. There's always great food, good vibes, and you're gonna always bump into somebody that you know or that you haven't seen in a long time. So
Yeah. So what made you move from Harlem and now you're in Miami? But I feel like you're a little bit of everywhere
I'm a
these
little bit
days.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I came to Miami after high school because I used to fight a lot, and it I never went looking for problems. Like I think that being that I was so different from a lot of the girls from around the way, in terms of like just how focused I was on my arts and how focused I was in school, but I was very street savvy. So my dad was a drug dealer, so like I was always on the block, and my dad would put gloves on me and have me fight the boys on the block and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. It was like that. Like he would be like, take off your glasses. Here's some gloves. Like fight that boy. Like, cause people would talk smack and he would be like, nah, my daughter could fight. Like whatever, whatever. Yes. So I feel like for me, I think that I'm very well rounded. I would put it that way. Um, I'm very smart. I went to Catholic school. I went to private schools. I went to really good schools. Even in high school, I went to performing arts school, which you had to audition to get into. And I went to some of the best schools in Manhattan and some of the best programs. I auditioned for them, or I would go and I would do essays to get scholarships. I would read the newspaper with my mom in the mornings, and that's how I would find out about things. But at the same time, my dad was a drug dealer, and my family did live in the hood. So I had a little bit of that culture too. So I think that I'm very well rounded, but I left New York because being who I was outgrowing it. And there was no placement for me there anymore. Yeah, I got into a really nasty fight with one girl. She wanted to jump me. She didn't want to fight me. She wanted to jump me. But I didn't even know this girl. Didn't even know her name. Never seen her before. We never crossed paths. Like this girl was like 5'10". I'm 5'2", for anybody that doesn't know. And I'm 118 pounds. And this girl was like 5'10", pushing maybe 200 pounds. You know, like she was big. She was a big
Shit.
mama. And yeah, she wanted to jump me. And I didn't even know why. Like, okay. And the day went on. So they left my block. The day went on, and we ended up fighting anyway because my aunt and my family was just like, she ain't gonna leave you alone. It's better you just get it over with because if not, she's gonna end up jumping you when you're not with anybody, when you're by yourself and you least
Word.
expect it. She's gonna catch you off guard. And I fought this girl, and I didn't for a moment. I wasn't scared. I didn't think I was gonna lose. I fought girls all the time. I fought guys, and I ended up like taking off her clothes. Like it was a big brawl. Guys were fighting girls were fighting guys. It was like a block against a block situation, and things escalated even after that because I won the fight. Like it was so
Wow.
ghetto. It was so ghetto. I hung up her bra on my block street sign.
You was
Like it
like,
was
I'm going
all
for the
over.
jugular.
What? It was all over Facebook and MySpace. Oh, Nina won that fight. And then they wouldn't stop. Like it was like a constant thing. Like me and my cousins had to always watch our backs everywhere we went. And then it was like another fight would happen. We would go to the park, and then another fight would happen, and then it just escalated to the point where weapons were being pulled out, and I got myself into some stupid mess. And blessed, super blessed to not get in trouble by authorities or anything like that, to be here now and having this conversation. And my uncle was like, I'm moving to Miami, you coming with me? And I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Wow. Wow. So
He
let me
was
ask you,
like,
you
you're
think when
not.
you look back on it, do you think that it was a jealousy because you're a very beautiful girl? Like in your baby pictures, like, oh my God, your big eyes, your soft looking skin, it's so cute. Like, do you think it was ever a jealousy when people talk about like that pretty privilege? They don't even know the dark side of that. So do you feel like it was a jealousy?
um You know, it's crazy. I don't know if you know Uptown Tori. She's also from Harlem. She lives in LA now. And Tori was the one that taught me what pretty privilege was. I didn't
Tell
know up
me.
until I was like in my late 20s. She was like, girl, you're mad privileged. Like, you're pretty. Now I could stand on being pretty. Like, I'll say, like, yeah, I'm pretty. I'm beautiful. I know that now. But
Absolutely.
before, it wasn't something that I would embrace. I didn't want anybody to see me as being pretty. That wasn't my thing. Like, and I think that's why I had such a hard exterior too. Like, I always look angry or I always look serious. On top of the fact that I was dealing with a lot of trauma. Excuse me. I don't. I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't look like everybody else. It is what it is. Thankfully, we don't all look alike. And I get along with a lot of people. People gravitate towards me. I'm a people person. I love people and I love hard. So I think that absolutely that being pretty and then being dope, that's those two combinations was just it worked. It worked against me sometimes when it came to females. And I also didn't really open up to outside females. I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of cousins. I have a lot of girls I grew up with. My mom has goddaughters or nieces outside extended family. So I never really had to make friends. So I never really wanted to make friends. And people get offended when you don't really want to make friends with people. I was okay with being acquaintances, but not too much. Not too much. And that also comes from my mom. She would always be like, but not too much. You can't just
Yeah,
trust people, you know?
for sure.
Um, but yeah, absolutely. Being pretty does have its downsides, but being pretty, if you know how to use it correctly, it would have its plus, and it would have its plus not only for you but for other people.
Sure, for sure, for sure. So moving to Miami, right? And you already have this tough exterior, you know, your mom, you already know like you can't just befriend anybody. Like how was it now moving to a new city and at least
Oof.
trying to network and make friends? Like what was the first few years like for you? Cuz I've never moved outside of Miami. So it's
I never cared to network until later on, unfortunately. Like I said, people gravitate towards me, so it was a culture shock, first and foremost. I was very homesick. I made it my business to make as much money as I could so I could go back home at least once a month because there's no place like New York. Like, at the end of the day, Miami is Miami and I love Miami to death. I love Miami. But New York is New York. It's one of the fashion capitals. It's one of the food capitals. You know, there's so many things that are accessible to you and so many resources. And Miami to me when I got here was like a third world country. So I was just like, yo, dirt. It's like dirt lots and people dressed this way. And it was a culture shock for me, like real big. And I'm from Harlem, where it's very heavily influenced by black people. You know, it's a very heavy black culture in Harlem, you know. I didn't have that here. Even though Spanish is my first language, even though I'm Dominican, I still need that. Like I still
yeah.
needed that. And I didn't have that here. So I got tired of it real quick. And I used to make sure I went back home once a month. In terms of my relationships and my friendships, I think that people just like became my friend because they would just hi, like, and I was hi,
Yeah.
like, and also being insecure I was very insecure. So like
Really?
yeah, I was very like physically insecure of myself.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah,
What would
yes.
even bring that on? Like,
Um, just being abused and growing up in an environment where you know, I develop fast, so a lot of things happen to me, and I wasn't safe all the time. So that made me look at myself differently too. People would
Mm,
tell me I would be pretty, and I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah.
or my response would be like, "Okay, but I don't care."
Mm-hmm.
That would be a very big like, "Okay, but I don't care." Okay, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. Okay, but so what? It doesn't matter. Why does that matter if I'm pretty or not? Moving to Miami and that not being a thing in New York, really, like your appearance, like, yeah, your swag is more of a thing in New York versus how you actually look. And yeah, that was another thing that was a culture shock for me, embracing my physical.
Mm-hmm.
I was always in shape because I always danced, so everybody always thought I was attractive because of that. I have a dancer's body. But I didn't really reach out to be friends with people. I didn't at all. Like, people really gravitated towards me, and I was really blessed in that way. Even with me and you approached me. Susie
Yeah.
approached me. Like, everybody that I know and that I still keep close to me to this day is everybody approached me. I was very,
Yeah.
very blessed for that though. I didn't
Yeah.
want to network really. I just wanted to work. I now network more than before.
Well, now that you're in a space to network, I feel like you're coming out of your shell even more.
Yeah.
Even more, right? So
Yeah.
you're acting now.
Yes.
Like, I love your self tapes that you give us little snippets on the gram and stuff. I love
It's
to see you
so
doing
crazy.
that.
I've been acting for a long time. Like, I went to school for it, but I never talk about those things. Again, it's an insecurity, a thing where the fear of failure and the fear of being judged and like those things. But I've been acting for a really long time. It's
But
just
if we
that
don't
when
know, how do we know? Like,
exactly, yeah, no, exactly. It's just that when COVID hit, I think COVID changed a lot for me. I went through a really big spiritual journey and I found out a lot about myself. And I was like, yo, you got to go hard.
mm,
And now in the relationship that I am, I have the privilege of dedicating myself and putting myself all in to my
yeah,
acting. That's
yeah.
really what it is. And like, even with my self tapes, everything's virtual now. So ever since COVID,
Mm-hmm.
everything's been virtual. But before that, it was in person auditions. I would audition here too. I did a couple videos when I was younger, but and
Mm-hmm.
not like slutty videos. Like, I was actually dancing in videos.
Yeah.
And not like shaking my ass. No, like I was actually
She ain't on
dancing.
that, y'all. She is not
Yeah,
on that.
no, that's not on brand for me, like, at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I am acting now. I model now. I'm signed to two agencies, one that represents me on the East and the West Coast. I know.
Yeah.
And it's a really good agency. I love my agency, HRI agency. They represent me on the East and the West Coast. And then I'm also signed to another agency, which is the Daughtry agency. Love, love, love them. And they represent me in the Midwest. Um, I just shot my first commercial.
Yes.
I know. They flew, girl, I got flued out.
Okay.
I got put in a really nice hotel, like really like 5 star. I was like,
I love that for
okay.
you.
They gave me a little stipend so I could eat and I spent my money. It was cute.
Okay.
I had a great time. And I also have my staffing agency, which is Global Morena. And we do private events, we do banquets, weddings, fairs, festivals, whatever, you name it, we do it. And I also have my brand called Fuera del Cuerpo,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more for your skin. I make soaps, and I have some things to show you guys. So, like, I hand
Yes.
make my soaps. This is one of the soaps that I make is a turmeric, the
Gorge.
sweet turmeric, sweet almond turmeric soap, and it's oatmeal based. And I also make elixirs for him and her. My for him is coming out as well. But until now, you can use this one, and it smells like heaven. I have to get you one. I wish we were in person so I can give it to you. But yeah,
Well,
that's
what do
what
you
I
love
do.
more? Do you love acting more? Do you love modeling more?
Acting is my shit. Like acting is my
Oh,
thing. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
acting is my thing. I finally have reached a point where I can really act. Like I can say that confidently. Like I've been taking classes and at one point I could never cry. I'm in Tasha Smith's class. She has a acting school and it's called T-Saw. And one day I asked her like, how do you get in the moment and you're able to cry? Like it's just so
I've
difficult for
always
me
been
to
curious
get.
of that.
I'm like, it's so difficult for me to get there. And Tasha was in our class that day and I asked that question and she was like, honey, it's your ego. Your ego's in the way. In order for you to be vulnerable, you have to let go of your ego. And I was just like, oh shit. Like, so I sat there for a moment and I was like, well, I don't want to be an egotistical actress. Like, I want to be a strong actress. So that kind of like broke a wall down for me to be able to
Yeah.
like get emotional in scenes. And now I can definitely do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm curious about because I've always wondered how people cry on cue, and I think, oh, maybe you have to think about like the saddest thing you've ever gone through in life. So I like that she said take your ego out of it so you can be able to break through that wall. But
right.
even going back to your skincare, your products, like the turmeric soap, like what was the process even making that? When did you decide I'm gonna make some
I
turmeric and some smell goods?
okay. I started it during COVID because I have eczema and I couldn't get my creams, my medicated creams. And I didn't have access to certain things because New York was retarded during
Yeah.
COVID. Um, so I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna look into holistic, options and figure this out. And I just started studying and I started studying and asking a lot of people in the medical field. And I started asking some other like herbalists and I started asking anybody that I knew that had some type of degree or knowledge about skincare or medicine or herbs. And yeah, I came up with a lot of recipes and I've been slowly dropping them. Like I started with scrubs and then from scrubs I did soaps and then from soaps I did hair oils. But I'm rebranding right now and that's why I'm only pushing certain things at a time. And that's where it really stemmed from. Like, and people started to get results with my products.
Yes. We
So
love some
I
results.
stopped. Yeah, I stopped. I stopped for a little while, and my boyfriend. I hate calling him my boyfriend. My partner and my cousin Blavey. They were pushing me like, no, you need to make your products. You need to make your products. Like people really like people benefited from them. Like you need to. Then people who started hitting me up like, "Are you gonna do soaps again?" Like, because we haven't seen you make any soaps, girl. It's been a couple years. And my boyfriend plays for the Ravens, so when we was in Baltimore during the season, I was getting a lot of flare ups of eczema because my body was not used to that weather. So I started making soaps again. I was like, all right, give me the money. If you give me the money, I'll make the stuff. He was like, go ahead, like, go. Like, I support you. I fully support you because he just wants me to be successful. And
I love that.
he just wants me to do anything that I can do to be successful and, have multiple streams of success. That's
Yes,
how he
kudos to
sees
the
it.
support. So, what
Yeah,
advice
he's
would
the
you
best.
give women who want to start their own brand and they're
Do
starting
it.
at the bottom?
Do it. Like, do it. Take your time, but do it. And like, take your time.
Yes.
Take your time and give yourself grace, but do it. A lot of the times we think about, oh, I'm not ready, or I want to wait till this because we want it to be perfect. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this world that is perfect. And you're going to make mistakes along the way. That's just the learning process. Just like when you first learn how to walk, before that, you're crawling. And you fall a couple times before you actually learn how to balance. It's like that with everything in life. So just do it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Don't wait for the opportunity. Make the opportunity for you. Make that opportunity for yourself.
No, for sure. It's a marathon, not a race. But I've
Exactly.
realized we learn a lot more out of our failures than anything. So, what has
Absolutely.
your failures taught you during this long process?
Um, I think more in acting, my failures have taught me to not hold myself back and to stop overthinking. Um, I definitely was a victim of being fearful of judgment. I don't know why. Like, I gave off, I don't care about what anybody thinks, but that's really because I cared so much about what
Mm,
other people thought. And that is what held me back the most. Caring too much about what other people think. Now, I don't get, okay? I don't. Do you pay
facts.
my bills? Do you wipe my ass when I use the bathroom? Oh,
Okay.
no. Okay. Thank you.
Effie, that's it. Now you really got
Yeah.
to move like that. So you know
No,
what
you
I
do.
noticed? I noticed on social media you used to be mad vocal, like a lot of things. You used to hit people with the juggler, like, "Ooh, I know that's right. Ooh, yep, okay." She's snapping right now. But now I notice you've been a lot more reserved. What brought
I
that on?
listen. I listen. I learned a lesson about listening. Um, Even COVID, we had to stand still and we just had to
Yeah.
listen and we just had to wait, right? So I think that was one of the things that taught me to just listen. The quietest in the room is usually the smartest, and it's because they're always listening and they're always learning. And I want to learn and I want to soak up as much as I can because I feel like I missed out on a couple years of doing that because I was so vocal. Now I speak when I need to speak. And I choose my battles. Before I was a firecracker. I'll fight whatever. I don't got time for that now.
Okay.
I don't.
I mean,
I
you're
really
building a
don't.
whole brand. There's really not much to do other than work on your brand and work on yourself.
I'm building an empire, but yes,
Okay, you better correct me, please, and thank you.
I'm
Now,
just saying.
no, no, I mean, I feel you. Trust me, because I wouldn't be building Pretty Girl Progression if it wasn't that as well. So I get it. I want to
Exactly.
know for personal development, what are you listening to? Like, what is your day to day like when you're just getting your
Woo.
mind right?
I am so intentional. Like, I only listen to ratchet music when I'm either driving or I'm outside, honestly. Like if I'm in that setting. But other than that, I don't feed my mind with unnecessary shit. Like,
Yeah.
excuse my language. I don't know if we can curse.
Okay.
I have
You're
a
good.
potty
You're
mouth.
good.
Um, Other than that, I'm very selective about what I listen to, who I'm around, how much time I spend with people, how much time I spend doing certain things. Like when I wake up in the morning, I go to the gym. I'll take my water bottle, go to the sauna. I'll come back up. I make breakfast, and while this is happening, I'm always listening to some type of music. Even in the gym, I don't listen to ratchet stuff. Like it's very rare. Like I really got to be on a different type of time to be thinking about or listening to that. Um, I stay in my faith. I make sure that I listen to the word on Sundays. I journal a lot. I journal a lot. I meditate a lot. I pray a lot. And I think the biggest thing for me is that I practice gratitude so much. Like, even when I'm sparking a blunt, like, I'll be like, thank you, earth, for this herb. Like, because I know this herb is about to take me to a different level and a different dimension.
Yeah.
Um, I read a lot. I've always been a reader, but I read more now. Absolutely. Like I take my time. I don't rush. And I came from an environment where that's the hustle and bustle. I came from the concrete jungle. It was always on the move, always on the go, always in a rush. You know what I'm saying? Like every minute counts. Like growing up, you knew the train would be there. The train would be in the morning at your stop at 7:32. And if you live 4 blocks away from the train, your ass got 7 minutes to get there. So it was just like everything has always been calculated. And now I've let go of trying to control of everything. My man used to always say, "You're so controlling. You're so controlling." And I used to be like, "I'm not controlling." Ah! And now I'm like, "Damn, he was right. I was very controlling." And the OCD was so real that if something was out of place, in any aspect. If my Uber was late, if anything was different from what I planned, girl, I would literally have a meltdown.
Wow.
And being that stressed out and so tense all the time, it just wasn't good for me.
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
learned. Honestly, my man is the person that's influenced me more than anything because
Mm.
I didn't meet him during COVID. I met him a little bit before COVID. I met him before COVID, but um, just the way his ways and like the things that he would like make me aware of. And he's from the South. He's from New Orleans. He's a Katrina
Wow.
kid. We're like polar opposites, you know? Like he went through some crazy shit during Katrina. I am completely opposite from his upbringing. Like his upbringing is so different from mine that he taught me a lot. Like I could really say like, yo, like he opened my eyes to a lot. When they said we was going on lockdown, that man said, pack your stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I'm about to go pick you up. And we were just
Yeah.
friends. We weren't even dating. We were literally just friends. Never had sex. Never were intimate in no type of way. Like kissed maybe once, and that was like we were both like, man, that was stupid. Like, why did we do that? We're homeboys. And yeah,
Well,
we
let's talk
just
about this because I think now we're in a space in an era where people are not appreciating one another, the man and the female, and everything is supposed to be love. It's all love. Like I was crying to my man about this the other day, like while we're praying, like may God continue to cover us and protect us and keep our union strong because we need each other. The love is love, you know?
no,
And
yeah.
I'm inspired by my man. So speak on just like the union when you're with your partner, how important it is. Like I feel like we need to sprinkle a little love, joy, and being with the right person instead of
I
all
just feel
this
like
take, take, take.
I think that the problem, the what's going on now, it's like social media influence is so heavy, and women have this entitlement, and so do men. And it's like people are lost in their in what roles they play. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm the most traditional woman in the world, and but roles are in place for a reason. Like a woman is a woman and a man is a man for a
For
reason.
sure.
And a man protects, provides, all that stuff, right? And a woman should be domestic. I believe that. I feel like the woman is supposed to hold down the fort all the time. She is the backbone and the heart of the home. Absolutely. And the man is not only the muscle, but he also gives the brains too. Um, uh, Obviously, so does the woman, and vice versa, but to a certain extent, right? And I think that is important for women to really live in their femininity, like especially Black women. And we've been so far removed from that before slavery. We've been so far removed from being a woman and what it really means to embrace being a woman. That's one issue we have, right? And then men men thinking that they don't have to value the woman anymore, and men wanting to play women roles. Like it's just, I think that's where the issue lies. But I'm gonna be honest with you, me and my man don't argue. We just don't. We
And why do you
just
think that
don't.
is?
We've never had to argue as friends. We don't argue now. Like it's just, we just don't. Why? Because we can literally sit down and have a conversation. Or the minute something doesn't, the minute I don't like something, he he kind of like pushes me to be open about it, to be vocal about it. Before I used to stay quiet sometimes, and he would be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll be like, "Nothing." And he'd be like, "This is the shit I be talking about. Like, you can't even say nothing. Like, it's like now we're dating and you just don't be saying shit sometimes. But when we were friends, I'll be like, man, you gotta chill. Like, I'm not okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be like, listen, that made me uncomfortable. It took, and then we became partners, and I started holding back, and I started to see how that was affecting us.
But why? What do you think that like change was? How do you go from that's my homie to Now I'm being
Exactly.
super
I didn't know how
reserved.
to be his woman. Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't know how to be vulnerable
Um,
enough to even express myself when I was angry without being angry or without being emotional. Now, yo, I need this and I need you to be like this and I need this and I need it.
yeah.
That's what I need from you. This is what I need from you. And I don't have an issue doing that because when Arthur's hungry, he's real quick to be like, "Hey, I'm hungry." Without a doubt. Like, I got you, boo. When Arthur needs me for anything, I jump. I'm there. So if I need something, vice versa. But we really don't argue, and I'm very blessed to say that. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful to have somebody that knows how to communicate and that I can be transparent with. Transparency is important. That's
It
another
really
thing. You and
is.
your partner have to want the same things. If y'all don't want the same things, you're in the wrong relationship. And women think that they can change men. The man that wants you is going to let it be known. Okay? Like Arthur said, pack your shit. Pack your shit. I just got this bag and now I can make sure that we both good. Pack your shit and come over here and let's build this shit together. Okay, cool. Blessed to have that. Blessed for him to say that. Super grateful, super appreciative. I don't even talk this much about my relationship, but I do feel
You
like
don't.
women, I don't even post him.
But I think it's healthy that, for a few reasons, I think it's healthy that you speak on this because you are a woman of substance and you know what you want. And when you do speak on, like, you don't have to do too much. If a man wants you, he will. You don't have to bend over backwards and chase him down.
Absolutely.
Like,
Or
he will.
give him threesomes or menages and
Please.
you don't have to do
Yes.
that. You don't have
Yes.
to. Unless that's the lifestyle you want to live, you don't have to. A man that really truly wants you will
Yeah.
treat you as such.
Absolutely.
Like my baby, he know, boss lady, big mama, whatever, queen. We don't curse at each other. We're very respect is so important in a relationship.
Yes, it is.
It's so important. And you have to be empathetic towards each other. Like you have to understand that when your man leaves through that door, there's a lot of obstacles that he faces every day. And when he comes home, the last thing he wants is for you to be bitching. Because if he's coming home, girl, it's because he wants to be home, which means you are his home. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of things that I had to unlearn too. But in a sense, my father kind of groomed me to have a certain mindset. So I haven't really been in a relationship where infidelity was a thing. I haven't really been in a relationship where I had to worry and feel like my man was talking to other girls or not. The relationships I've been in have been honest. Even the ones that sucked. Like I was in a domestic violence relationship and I let it linger for 6 years. And I will tell y'all now what I tell everybody. The minute that man calls you out of his name, run. Out of your name, run. Run. And my father told me that when I was young and I should have listened. But for some reason, at 20 years old, I'm thinking I know better than what my dad told me. And I was looking for this love that I just needed to give myself. I didn't need from nobody else, honestly. But yeah, I think those are keys to being in a healthy relationship. You have to be in a healthy relationship with yourself, and
Yes.
you have to be honest. You have to be transparent. There has to be respect. You have to
Yeah.
want the same things, and there has to be empathy.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with every single thing you said. I mean, we have similar story. I was in an abusive relationship when I was in my like I think I was like 20, 21, my first
You
love. And
told me about it when I was
yeah,
young. Yeah.
and honestly, from the moment that, and I used to psych myself out, oh, because he didn't punch me. But you know, when somebody yokes you up, that's still
Yeah.
abuse, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew better having brothers and uncles, but it's like something that you gotta go through, I guess. You hard-headed, you just go through it even though you
But you
had
go
people to
through
tell
it
you.
but you go through it, but you have to get yourself out of it.
Absolutely. No one else is
Um,
going to do it.
no, and you're not gonna listen to nobody else anyways.
Right.
No one can convince you that what's going on is wrong because you
Right.
are so deep in
I
that
agree.
moment
Yeah.
that no one or nothing. You literally just wake up one day and hit reality. For
Yeah.
me, it was he hit me for no reason. We were like we never really argued anyways, but he hit me for no reason. Like literally no
Did you
reason.
see
Like
signs?
no. No, I like I'm saying he was already abusive, but that one time where I was like, get the fuck out of my house. That one time, it's like he literally slapped sense into me. And I was like, hold on, motherfucker, did you just slap me for no reason? Because I didn't do anything. At this point, now I'm not crazy. I'm like, yeah, you gotta go. Get your shit, get out my crib. I'm good.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No one's
that
going to come
relationship was
save you. You got to
bad.
save yourself.
You
That's
gotta
what it
save
taught me for
yourself.
sure. But
You have
now
to
that
save
you're in this
yourself.
healthy, beautiful, loving relationship, having the conversation even about, and I hate to have this conversation, but it has to be a topic because I feel like you will still give so much wisdom behind it when people talk about the 50-50. What do you bring to the table? What do you even say to that?
Why are you worried about what I bring to the table? Like, no, for real. Why would somebody else that is not in a relationship with me be worried about what I bring to the table? He knows what I bring to the table. I don't have to explain myself to nobody. And we live in an era where everyone thinks that they have to prove themselves. I don't gotta prove myself to nobody at all. And that's why I am so private about my relationship. And that's why I don't feel like I need to post my man. And that's why I don't really talk about what's going on in my life. I'll let you see bits and pieces so you know, hey, she's a working actress. So if you know anybody that's hiring, is y'all niggas
Okay.
hiring? Nina's on the move. Like
Yeah.
Nina's on go. Like she's really about her craft. But other than that, I don't gotta prove myself to nobody. So when people be like, what do you bring to the table? Why are you worried about what I bring
Yeah.
to the table? What do you bring to the table? Work on that and you worry about that,
Yeah.
about you. That's the thing. People worry too much about other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Way too much. Like if we lived in a world where people really worried about themselves, everybody would be happy.
Yeah.
Like
So
everybody would
true.
be so happy. Like even like the 50-50 question, right? Why does it matter?
And I feel like a man, at the end of the day, you don't have to have that conversation with a man because he knows you. He knows what he signed up for. So what are we really talking
Exactly.
about?
Exactly.
You know?
Like I'm a hustler.
For
I'm a
sure.
hustler. I've always been that way. I don't have when it comes to money, I I've hit you up. Yo, if you know anybody doing events, I got this
Mm-hmm.
going on. Let me know. I'm
Yep.
in town. Da, da, da. You know my work ethic. My work ethic speaks for itself.
For
So
sure.
there's not really a time where I go without money or a time where okay, sometimes things could get slow, but keep going. You just keep going because if you stop,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be even slower. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um,
Yeah.
but that 50-50 question drives me crazy because it's like
Yeah.
that's just one of those things that for me, if you are in a sacred relationship with somebody, then it's not something that everybody needs to know.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Your relationship is for you and that person, not for
I
everybody
agree.
else. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Absolutely. 100%. Okay, so let me ask you this too. We talk about divine femininity, okay? And you are that girl. Like, what advice would you give to the girls who haven't even tapped into their divine femininity, which I believe every woman has, but they, again, haven't tapped into it? How did you begin to even tap into yours?
How do I begin to tap into mine?
How did you? Because it had to come
Oh,
from somewhere.
and every time I get asked this question, I get a little emotional because being somebody like I've grown so much. I'm so proud of myself. But being somebody who has been sexually abused at a very young age, I was a little girl, right? Um, I hated being a woman. Like, oh my God. Like, I would wake up and be like, God, why? Literally, like, I hated every single thing about being a female. And Joe is, I call her one of my spiritual sisters, my Dominican Brooklyn mommy. She's a healer. You can find her on Instagram, Joe, Jo.Trinidad. Um, we were sitting at the beach here in Miami when I came back. When I came here after COVID, right? I came back again. And I was like, man, like, she's like, oh my God, because I just love being a woman. And like, she's always like, oh, I just love it. Like, I'm so free and beautiful. And I love my vagina. And I was like, girl, I fucking hate it here. And she was like, what? She was like, no, Nina, like, no, don't say that. Like, and I think I exposed myself. Like, I exposed myself to her. And she was like, no, mommy, like, you don't even understand the power that you hold within
Yeah.
yourself. Like, and she kind of talked to me a lot. And we went a couple days with her talking to me. And man, like, it was just like, I spent a lot of time with her right before I left. So to see her here in Miami in this space, it was almost like divine. Like, God was like, we're not finished. Like, you're not finished. Like, you two still have some work to do together. Right. And she kind of was the one that really opened me up into like loving my femininity and showing me like, look at this and look at that. And no, like, look at yourself in the mirror, like, literally. And one day she told me to look at myself in the mirror, and I couldn't do it. I could not look at my vagina in the mirror because I was so disgusted by her. I was so disgusted. I used to tell her all, it's so nasty to me. Like, I don't even masturbate. Like, girl, I'll masturbate queen now. Don't play with me. I love my coochie. And I don't even call her coochie. I'm just trying to, I say what it is. I love my pussy. She's beautiful. And what I would say is,
Ashe.
once you break that, once you break that mindset, and once you get out of that mindset, it's so beautiful
Yeah. Yeah.
because you live in your power. And that's the power. Men have their power, but women, we are powerful. We are very powerful. And I embrace that. Like, living in your divine and living in your femininity and living in your intuition, the way you align, wild.
Yeah,
I
it
would
really
say,
is.
like, yeah, I would say, like, get into loving yourself because ain't nobody. First of all, you're not going to wake up the next day and be something else. It's not going to happen. But nobody's going to love you or want to love on you if you're not obsessed with yourself. If you're not in love with yourself, why would anybody else be in love with you? And for
That's a
most
bar.
girls, they're always looking for this outside love, right? For most girls, and that's how you know I was there. And that's how you know that you're not living in your divine. When you're looking for outside love, not knowing that all the love you need is right here, boo. Like,
Yes.
honestly, that's really what it is.
Yeah. No, for sure. I 100% agree. And I'm glad that you said that because I always talk about doing your mirror work and just grounding and getting one with yourself because the moment you realize how beautiful you are, like, regardless of your physical, because people tend to think that Pretty Girl Progression was about your physical attributes. And I always love to see a beautiful woman from the inside out. Like, who
Right.
are you at your core? That's what really shines. And on top of it, the way you love yourself, people are going to resonate with that. They're going to spot
Absolutely.
it. And if you don't have anybody in your tribe, in your circle, then reach out to women or at least be able to watch other women who you
Exactly.
admire that, for me, it was a woman online, Shanika Adams. I don't know what's going on in her personal life. I don't even care. But the way I see her love herself unapologetically and just boldly and be able to share that with women, I'm like, wow, this is a whole nother level of woman.
Hmm.
Mother of many, the way she loves herself so boldly as well, the way you love yourself so boldly, like that is Just
I do
beautiful.
want to say, um, my mother also played a role because she gave me a manifestation journal when I was 20,
Oh
I
wow.
want to say 25,
Wow.
and I didn't touch that journal for like, I believe my mom gave me the journal in 2000, I want to say 2016, 2016 or 2017, around that time. I didn't write in that journal till COVID. It took
When you
me
were still.
years because I opened it when she first gave it to me, and the first thing it asked me is my life statement. And I was like, I cannot put my life in one sentence. Like, what does that even mean? It was so intimidating to me. The book itself, I wasn't ready. I knew I wasn't ready. And during COVID, I had no choice but to be ready. So
Wow.
I would use that manifestation journal every day, every day, every day during COVID. And I manifested everything that I wrote in that journal. And I was thinking small, bitch.
Mm.
Now, now that journal, I be thinking big, bitch. Like now
Okay.
I be making sure that it's up to par. But I was just like, wow, like though that was another thing that really, really helped me. Like it told me to write letters to people that have hurt me, to write letters to people that have
Mm.
inspired me, to write letters to my 6 year old self, 3 year old self. Like it was just a lot of stuff and a lot of things that I didn't think about, but it healed me.
That
Like
inner
my
work.
mom didn't even know what I don't even think she knows what she was doing when she gave me that journal. Or maybe she did because I've never seen her use it herself. Maybe she did. Um, but that manifestation journal really like, yeah, that's another thing that helped me heal and like help me love myself even more.
Yeah, that was some divine intervention right there. For
Very much
sure.
so. I'm thinking about like putting it on my bio on social media because I don't know, it just worked so well for me. I've gone through like three of them so far.
Isn't it funny how somebody can give us something and then when we finally are still and it just finds its way back to us? Like I have the Queen of Fua book, Sacred Woman, or
My
I
mom's
had
always had it. Yes.
if you don't have this, ladies, go get it.
I
And
Yo, listen.
it's a
I've
beautiful
bought it
book.
for other women because I feel like you need this. It's literally
Yeah.
a Bible for black women. It's your
Yeah.
Bible for black women. And like another thing that I want to say before, we start talking
Please.
about anything else, being a black woman is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And if we were just to start embracing each other as being beautiful black women and not being a competition to each other. Like this colorism shit is corny. Like trying to sleep with her man and take her nigga or trying to get what she has or being sour about a job she got. It's not going to get you further. It's not going to get you further in life and success or with yourself. And I just wish that women were to be more supportive of each other, especially black women. Like
Yeah.
if we were to support each other even more, you know how far we would go? We would
Nina,
take
tell them
over.
what that looks like though. Tell women of color, what does that look like to support? Because I understand what it looks like. But for somebody
When
who
a
has no
woman,
idea,
for me, it's like, this is a good example. When a woman falls, you help her up. You don't take out your phone and record. You don't mock her or laugh. Like, you don't know what people are going through. I think that being supportive is just to be kind,
yeah, for
genuinely to be
sure.
kind. There's women that I don't get along with, but or that I'm not fond of. I wouldn't say get along with because I had dinner. I went on a yacht the other day. There was a woman that I don't really care for there, and we ended up being at dinner together too. And it was nothing. It was no animosity. It was no tension. She even decided to speak to me, and we had a little conversation and went home, and everything was fine. It's never that deep.
Yeah.
It's not like if we was to really support each other, like how you support me, for example, you make it your business to say my names in rooms that I'm not in. And you may not know that I know that, but I know that because people have told me that you do that without you having to tell me. You make it your business to make, and I'm very grateful for that. You make it your business to put anybody on that you can. I'm the same way.
Yeah, you
That's
are.
support. That's
Yeah.
support. That's women empowerment.
Yeah, you
If
are.
I know that somebody's having a wedding, what do I do? Yo, my
Yep.
Susie's a wedding planner. Right
Yep.
away, that's the first thing I do. Susie,
Yep.
if I hear anything about anything and I know somebody that fits the category and I know that they have good work ethic, I'm going to push for that person to be in that room or sit at that table. That's support. Support is making sure you tell your friends that they're doing a good job because not everybody has family and not everybody has that support or that love from another woman. So I pour into my friends like, man, you don't even
You gonna make me
understand. Like,
cry in this, man.
the way I pour
Jesus.
into, because I want them to know that they are amazing, and that's why I
Yeah.
choose to love them. That's why I choose to be friends with them. That's why I
Yeah.
choose to make them my family. Like pouring into others, that's support. You know what I'm saying? Hitting a
Ooh.
like, sharing a story,
Mm-hmm.
commenting, that's support. It's
Yeah.
not always about buying what the person is selling. I'll repost my friend's things every single day until her
Yeah.
shit sells out.
That's a fact. That's a
Until it sells
fact.
out, and I'm cool with that. And everybody can feel whatever. Oh
That's a
well,
fact.
that's support. And just like I said, being kind. Just be
Yeah.
kind. If you're kind, everything else falls along with support.
Yeah. Man, I pray that everyone receives this because literally we would be so strong if we dropped the ego, we were
Listen,
kind, and we really supported each other. Even in something you said so powerful, even if I am not too fond of this person, because how many people do we run into where we're like, ah, that's not my cup of tea, and that's okay.
exactly.
But you don't have to go out of your way to be nasty or go out of your
Or to
way
be
to
evil.
sabotage. Exactly, you don't,
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, you always reap what you sow, and it's always going to be returned to sender. So be mindful of what you're doing and how you're doing and how you move. Have integrity on top of it, you know?
absolutely. A
Have
person without
integrity.
integrity is just a nasty person.
Yeah.
They are capable of doing anything. If you don't have integrity,
Yeah.
you are capable of doing anything, and I don't trust that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. And I love how you talk about like your intuition. Like we all have that divine intuition in us where we're like, okay, this is for me, this is not for me. I should go this way, I should go that way. Oh, it's just made
That
my whole life
divine
just now.
intuition is like, I think that people get it mixed up with thinking.
Mm.
You know, your intuition is the first thing that comes to mind. But then after that, you start to think. That's your human
Yes.
where
Yeah.
that's where you become indecisive.
Yeah.
But that first thing that comes to mind, that's your intuition. And
Yeah.
we often do not acknowledge that because we're always told, well, think about it more.
Mm.
Why? Why I got to think about it more for? My mind already told me. My spirit
Mm.
already told me. That is the important thing. Like when you go out with a guy and you know and you feel in that moment right away, listen to that. When men say women don't listen, that's what they're talking about. When people say women don't listen, that's what they're talking about. They don't listen to themselves. It's not about you listening to everything else. Cancel the noise, but listen to yourself. That's what I think divine intuition
Ashe.
is.
So
Yes.
Nina, Miss Nina Star, what is next for you?
Well, hopefully I'll be in some featured, series, whatever.
I could so see it. I already see
Hopefully
it.
I'll be in some featured films. But like I said, I am dropping a for him elixir. I have one that's for everyone. However, my partner was like, I just want something that smells more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And his beard was a little patchy. And when I saw him, I didn't see him for a week. And when I saw him, I was like, oh wow, your beard. And it even smelled amazing. Like I just wanted to be all up in his beard. I hate a musty beard. He combs it, he uses his elixir. The elixir is not just for your hair, but it's also for your skin. It's a holistic way. It's uh, canceling out the noise, I say. It's therapeutic, it's good for your immune system. If you have a bite or a rash, it also helps with that. My soaps do the same thing. So that's with that and my acting, like I told you about. But like, y'all, hire me.
Where can
And
we find your products though? Because I want my man to grow out his beard, and so where can we find your products?
fueradelcuerpo.com. It's actually on my Instagram page in the bio.
Yes.
And I post it on my story all the time. So you guys can
Yes.
just go to my story and you'll probably
Everything will
see
be in the
it.
link in the description, y'all. Everything will be
Yes.
in the link in the description. So no worries. I got you. Got you.
But yeah, I'm just look out. Look out because I'm coming. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
I'm coming. And
And
I'm coming
lastly,
strong.
what is one thing that you live by? Leave us with one thing that you live by.
The four agreements. Absolutely. And if y'all haven't read it, then get the audio. Um, but the four agreements is very important to me. Be intentional with your words. I'm not even gonna tell y'all everything because y'all need to get the book or the
No, for
audio.
sure.
But but the four agreements is something that I absolutely live by.
Yes.
Absolutely. And practice
Episode
gratitude, y'all.
Yes, episode 3, we talked about me and another guest. We talked about the four agreements. That was like it for her. Not taking anything personal was one of my favorites. So
Absolutely. Not setting expectations. Like, yeah,
yeah, be
absolutely.
impeccable with your words, y'all. So on that note, I want y'all to give a round of applause for Nina Starr. And Nina, you can come back anytime,
Well, thank you
promoting,
so
dropping
much.
gems, giving us your wisdom. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time, Queen. Now, ladies, if y'all want to journal, if y'all want to practice gratitude and affirmations, go ahead to www.prettygirlprogression.com today. And again, a round of applause for Nina Starr.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I
Of
appreciate you. Thank
course,
you so much.
anytime. Until next time, Queen, and as always, love yourself. Bye, y'all.